What is up,
Hi,
Swifties? Hey! Oh my God, Tiffany! Hey!
hey Denise.
I am so excited for this. I cannot believe we're doing this, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Folklore album review. Tiffany, this is it. The moment has come.
I know, I can't believe that we're live at the same time. It feels like technology is crazy, you know?
Technology is definitely on our side right now because can you imagine if technology did not exist, but yet we had folklore to talk about and no place to talk about it on?
Oh, I mean, we have so much to say, so I can't wait.
All right, so Swifties, for those of you who just tuned in, today Tiffany and myself are going to be reviewing Folklore. We're going to be going over the certain themes of the album. We're going to be talking about our favorite tracks and like so many stuff. We're going to be answering your questions, so make sure to spam us in the comments section. And I'm hoping to pull your guys' comments up, which I'm already seeing some pop up right now. And then we're going to go ahead and just kind of like go from there. So this is going to be a good, fun time just for us Swifties to really enjoy and talk about Folklore. So whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this on replay, make sure to join the conversation in the comment section. But Tiffany, let's go ahead and get started. First of all, let's go ahead and give some shout outs to some people in here. So we have Grace Wang in the house. She says, OMG, yes. We have Lizzie O who says, hi, Denise from Virginia Beach. And we also have David in the house and Sharif Mills. So we have a few people in here. It's getting ready to talk about Taylor Swift. So, Tiffany, let's just start off with like the main thing. What did you think when Taylor Swift made the surprise announcement that she would be bringing out an album that same night? What did you think?
Oh my gosh. Well, so I mean, it was funny at like 7 in the morning, I saw that I was getting a FaceTime call from my friend Javier, who is a Swiftie. And I was like, why is Javier trying to FaceTime me? But I was so tired. I literally like didn't even answer it. And so when I then woke up probably around like 8 o'clock LA time, my phone, I don't even know how many text messages I had from like everyone I know, even non-Swifties being like, oh my gosh, have you seen? Like, it was so overwhelming. I didn't even know what to do. Like, group chats were going off. Like, it was so much to process. I feel like all day that day, it was just, I was stressed out because like there was just so much happening.
I feel you 100%. So I woke up and I had a text from my fiance and he's like, Denise, wake up. Taylor Swift is dropping a new album. And I was like, inside my head, the first thing I thought was, but there was no Easter eggs. I didn't know about this. What do you mean she's dropping a new album? So I log on to Twitter. I see the announcement and I'm thinking, I don't know what to do. Like, this is happening tonight. And right away, my brain went into like content mode. Let's do this. But at the same time, it just felt so overwhelming. I honestly really didn't know what to do. And it's funny because she has always said like, oh, I don't want to drop too much on you guys. But then she goes ahead and does it and dropped the album this way. So Tiffany, let's talk about how she did it, because you and I and all the Swifties out there know Taylor Swift very well. And Taylor doesn't do things sporadically out of nowhere. Everything is very planned out and very thought out. How crazy do you think it is that she actually decided to drop TSA Folklore like this?
Well, yeah, it was something she'd never done before, but honestly, I think it was an amazing idea. And as we've seen, it paid off. She is the #1 song on the Hot 100 with Cardigan, has 2 other songs in the top 10 with The One and Exile, then #1 on the 200 with the album. And she's the first artist in history to ever debut on top of the Hot 100 and the Billboard 200. So like she broke so many records. I think too, because we're all staying home right now and there isn't a lot to do. Everyone was, on their computers and saw this news break. So they were ready to listen. But I think too, just the surprise aspect of it, people were really excited about that. And they wanted to listen to the whole album start to finish. And honestly, I think it was a great idea. I think if she would have done a teasy thing this time, the result wouldn't have been quite as successful. Obviously still successful because she's Taylor Swift and because we all love her. But I think this was just like, and I think the perfect album to do it with too, because it's so different from what we've seen her do in recent years and a whole new sound, it's on the alternative charts. So, I mean, I think it was like a genius idea.
And Derek Huang brings up a good point. Says,
Yes.
I'm so happy at Taylor breaking records. And you mentioned some big ones right now. We'll get into some of those later. But I cannot believe so when she announced this album, to be honest, I thought to myself, how is this album going to do in comparison to all her other albums, given that the other ones had the traditional album rollout of promoting the album for months on end, weeks, whatever, doing radio interviews, billboards. We love her. Love her had so much that she did. I mean, she did the mural. She did oh my God, she just did so much. Everything that went into it, the billboards, the Easter eggs. I mean, everything. It was just like constant announcements. So for her to sort of just drop this album, I was kind of worried. I was like, oh my God, what if this doesn't go as well as some of her past albums? And then when it actually happened and I saw the amount of love that it was getting on social media and obviously on everything else, it was insane. And a few weeks prior to this, I had seen a couple of artists that were like, due to COVID, I'm postponing my album release. Due to COVID, I'm postponing my album release. But then Taylor Swift, like the music industry herself, comes out here and she says, hey, I'm dropping my album. And so Nayeli Martinez brought up a good point. She says, no one expected it. 100%. No one saw it coming. Right. It was a well-kept secret.
Definitely. And I think, that's why the albums, at least in the US, I think they're maybe just now shipping out the, like the physical
UK
copy.
ones were accidentally released a little bit sooner.
But I'm not sure when the US ones are coming out, but it's like, that's why it wasn't available right away, because if the albums would have been printed, then more people would have found out about this big secret. So she's like, I'm not even going to have them in stores. I'm just going to put it, at the time being on like iTunes, Spotify, everywhere else online. But the thing is too, is with so many of the charts now, it's like streaming numbers really play a huge part in it. So it's all those streams that she got on Spotify, I think, and, probably Apple Music, wherever, are what really contributed to all of her chart success this past week.
It's wild. David says, OMG, same thing for me. I was bouncing off the walls. I thought she was kidding.
She's a kid.
Yeah, right? Grace Wang says she has a genius mind and plans everything. I think that was the charm to this, though, the fact that she did it so differently. And I do want to remind you all that she had a very sort of different tactic, just like she did when she brought out Reputation. Do you remember when she went blank on social media? We were seeing clips of people didn't know at the time what the snake was and how important that snake ended up being, for her after everything that happened with Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. So I almost see the approach to Folklore like she did with Reputation. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, Reputation. I mean, that was a wild ride too, right? Because we saw the tail of the snake, then the middle, then like the head, and the fact that she became the snake queen and took back that snake narrative, that was everything. And actually too, you remember with Reputation, she put out Look What You Made Me Do just as the song, and it was so different than anything we'd ever seen from her. And I think it was out for maybe a couple days. And then that weekend at the VMAs, she premiered the Look What You Made Me Do music video. And that's when we really saw what it was about. And gosh, the Look What You Made Me Do music video, I think still didn't get all the credit it deserves. That music video is amazing. It's one of her best music videos ever. And
I 100% agree with you on that. I know have we done our music video ranking? I'm not sure. I feel like we've done so many rankings. Everything's a blur to me now.
I'm sure we've talked about our favorites, but I don't know when.
But I just feel like Look What You Made Me Do is just impactful for so many different, on so many layers. But Derek Huang says, I think the fact that it was a surprise made it all the more hype worthy, in turn making it a trend. And I do agree with that. I think the fact that she did it like that actually added to more of oh, if she thought this album was so great to release so soon, what is it? Lizzie O says she's on the country Billboard with Betty. Yes, that just came out news. That just came out right now. So that's actually a perfect segue into talking about some of the records that Taylor Swift broke. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up right now. So Tiffany, these are literally just the first set of records that she broke.
Many.
So here's what we have. Cardigan debuted at #1 on the Hot 100, having Taylor become the first artist to open #1 on both the Hot 100 and with the album on Billboard 200 in the exact same week. I repeat, the first artist. The One came out at number 4, Exile at number 6, and with Cardigan, 3 songs on the Hot 100s, making it the first time Taylor Swift has charted the Hot 100s top 10 simultaneously. 1.3 million global sales in the first 24 hours, 80.6 million streams on Spotify, which broke Ariana Grande's record for Thank You Next. So she now holds the new record for any album by a female artist. 35, this is the cool one. This is a really cool one. 35.47 million streams on Apple Music. But get this, Folklore also set a new Amazon Music opening day mark for the indie alternative album genre. People thought Taylor Swift couldn't do indie alternative, and she did. Folklore also sold over 2 million copies worldwide in 1 week, making it the top album of 2020. And now Taylor is the only woman to have 7 of her albums debut at number 1. All of them did so except for her debut album, which makes sense since she was new at the moment. What are your thoughts on all of these records? I can't even keep track with all of them.
I mean, she's been, like collecting awards and breaking records, I feel like, for as long as we can remember. But it's amazing. It's crazy, and it's so cool. And I think too, what I love the most about this whole Folklore era is that being a Swiftie, as I'm sure many of you are that are watching, it's sometimes hard because people will hate on Taylor and hate on Swifties. And when the general public and the majority of people and those who maybe aren't usually Swifties jump on the bandwagon, as they have with Folklore, I'm like, yes, please come join us. It's so good. It makes me so happy because I'm like, yeah, come join in the fun. Like, I remember feeling this way with Shake It Off in 1989. A lot of people who previously had been like, oh, Taylor's a serial dater, and all the things they said about her back then in 2012, 2013. She's always had haters, But then in 2014 on 1989, everybody was like jumping on the bandwagon. And I was like, yes, this is amazing. But then we kind of lost some people in 2016. And I feel like now we've gotten them back. So I'm excited.
I just feel like life's too short to pretend that you're not a Taylor Swift fan. And at this point, I just feel like, why? Okay, I get the silliest things. Like, I ask, like, when people tell me, oh, I don't like Taylor Swift, I'll be like, oh, like, why? And they'll be like, oh, she's a snake. And I'm like, okay, but why? Like, I need concrete answers here. You just can't say, oh, I don't like her because of this. I need concrete reasons, and you don't have any. Chris Lange says, there was actually one Easter egg before this album. She made an Instagram post with her leaning against a tree on 4/27, the inverse of the release date. I didn't catch that, but I did see the one where she, remember when she was promoting her buns, her oven buns, like the ones that she made? So, and then she had the buns on the album, the back, the part where you see the track list. I thought that was pretty interesting. Jobber JJ says, Taylor did a sneaky, great marketing job. And then Mira says, I love Country Taylor more than life itself.
Same.
Lauren Kaminsky has a good question. She says, what song do you want to be the next single? Honestly, I think it should be Betty. Betty's the one that most people are talking about. So that would be a good thing. And especially considering that now it's on the top country radio. And if not Betty, I actually really like the idea of putting Mirror Ball. I think Mirror Ball would be a good pick as well.
I just had an idea, and she would have to, because I think because she's taking Betty, putting it on country radio, I don't know if she would also, try to get it on pop radio. But what song would be great to release this month as a single? August. And August is like a pop-year song. One of my favorite songs is Invisible String. That's like maybe something like that. I need to listen more. I feel like I haven't thought about that at all. What song would be the next single? What do you guys think? Comment what song you think should be the next single.
Yes, please do. And then David says, she 100% made our 2020 perfect. We have to remember she wrote this whole album in less than 4 months. That is pure talent. The fact that isn't even all the records. She is the best. Yes, 100%. Those aren't even all the records. More are going to be coming out. There's probably some already out there that I already missed because there are just so much. And I just think the fact that she brought out this mask. I saw someone on Twitter say that this may be the first masterpiece to come out of quarantine. And I was just like, and Taylor Swift was the one to do it. Stephanie Corderia says, the Folklore album is movie worthy. Sarah says Folklore is also #1 in the UK as well. And then Cat Lady says, when will the Folklore albums be arriving to the US citizens? Can't wait for the Lakes. Will not support listening to the leaked song. Have you listened to the song? I haven't. I read the lyrics though.
I've heard snippets, I feel like, on Twitter that people have shared. I haven't listened to it in full, but I don't know when they'll be arriving here. I remember something. I'm bad. I haven't ordered any merch yet because I'm really bad at deciding what I want.
Oh my God, I'm total opposite of you. I ordered everything. I had to stop myself. I can't buy. I do not allow me to go to TaylorSwift.com. I'm done. I'm maxed out. I'm planning a wedding. I can't afford it.
But didn't it say something about like 6 to 7 weeks or something like that they would ship, or like?
Oh, it's like 4 to 8, I think. And then I'm thinking I'm just gonna have to. I bought all 8 albums, Tiffany, all of them.
Did you really?
I don't know what I'm gonna do with 8 albums, and
it's hard. I have all 4 of Lover, but to buy 8 really felt like a lot. I don't know. I have a hard time buying it, and I think too with Lover, because they were all the diaries, having the different diaries. I was like, yes, I need that. But to buy all 8 Folklore albums, I don't know if I can do it. You really did it. I might buy like 2 or 3, but I don't know if I can buy 8.
So I bought all 8. I bought a cardigan for myself. And then I bought 3 cardigans when I did a giveaway on Twitter. I was just supposed to do 1. I ended up doing 3. I bought the t-shirt. I don't even know which one, but it has her face on it. And let's just say that that's what I mean by I'm completely maxed out. Nayeli Martinez says, life is too short to pretend you don't like Taylor Swift. Dua says, I can't wait to listen to the bonus song, The Lakes. Based on what I've read, I almost feel like it has, I haven't listened to the snippet, okay? So I have no idea what the sound is like so far because I didn't want to listen to it yet. But to me, it feels like it's going to be more similar to Hoax, and I love Hoax because I love the vibe of the song. So yes, I'm very excited about it. Jacob Johnson says he loves the song August, and we'll get into that. We'll get into our favorite tracks, but first I'll read what you guys have to say. Dua also says Illicit Affairs is my fave at the moment. Derek says, I feel she might have Mad Woman as a single. Tina says, I want an album of her car songs. I wish we would get Getaway Car, Cruel Summer, and August. I like how you refer to them as car songs.
I like that. That's funny. I haven't thought of that either. Like, yeah, because 2 a.m. in your car. I wish you would is one of my favorite songs. Like, that's like my favorite song on 1989.
It's an underrated song for 1989. I think I went on a whole rant about that on one of these videos. Sarah Meller says August or Illicit Affair should be singles. David says, I think that Cardigan is a single. It is. She is going to be the rest of the she's going to do the rest of the love triangle and do August and Betty. I would love Exile and Invisible String as well. I think I read rumors on Twitter that she was doing an Exile music video, but it's just a rumor. I don't know. I don't even know why people were saying it. I just casually saw it.
I can see that.
Yeah. So I guess let's go ahead and that'll kick us off into our next topic. So let's talk about our favorite songs on the album and also the most surprising songs on the album. But first, okay, let's start off with the favorite songs. Tiffany, what were your favorite songs off the album and why?
All right. So my 2 favorite songs, my top 2, if I had to narrow it down. And these are the 2 also that I found myself listening to the most over and over and over on repeat are My Tears Ricochet and Invisible String, which are 2 very different songs, but My Tears Ricochet I think is just like a masterpiece. It is so good. I love it every time I listen to it. And I feel like the lyrics of Invisible String are what really pull me into that because it's like this love song. And also I'm a very much like everything happens for a reason kind of person. And the idea that like, you know, your person is out there and you've always like, you've been like being pulled toward them this whole time. It's like, just like a really nice thought, you know, and it's like all these other things didn't work out so you could end up with them. I really like that idea, you know?
Yes. Okay. So first of all, it's funny because when I listened to Invisible String, the first thing I said, oh, this is the song for hopeless romantics everywhere. And so now that you're saying like this was one of your favorite songs, I was like, okay, I was right about that. Somebody connected that and somebody was like, well, you know, there's somebody out there that's meant for me and they don't know that we're tied with this invisible string. And then My Tears Ricochet. Oh, sorry, go for it.
Oh, I was going to say too, I mean, and you're always the hopeless romantic one. Usually I'm like the whatever, you know, like I forgot that you existed one. So Maybe I've changed.
I can't believe you said that your favorite song was My Tears Ricochet, to be honest, because
really?
like you said, I feel like you always tend to go for the more like uplifting, upbeat songs. And I mean, your favorite album is 1989. So I don't think I was expecting My Tears Ricochet.
Quarantine has really changed me.
You've heard it here first. Quarantine has changed Tiffany.
God, hasn't it changed us all,
Oh my God, that is so funny. Jobber says, we need a new word for Denise other than merch freak. I'm a merch freak. And then Grace Wang
says, I love merch.
Wow, Denise, you are so extra. I honestly agree. Lauren says, Mad Woman is the version of the man. Okay, so I want to share my favorite songs before we get into that, because that is a hot topic for today. So I have a full ranking video up on my channel that you guys can check out. But my top 5 favorite songs are 5 Betty, which I didn't realize how much I love that song until I kept listening to it nonstop on repeat. So because of that, I ended up loving it a lot more. And then 4 was My Tears Ricochet. I think it's probably one of her best track 5 songs ever. I especially love the fact that in the beginning you think it's about one thing, but then it's about totally something else. And she's talking about everything that went down with her albums and, Scott Borchetta selling her masters to Scooter Braun of all people. And I just really felt that we felt how she felt when that news broke of her masters being taken away from her. And I really, really felt the emotion from her during the song. All right, and then you would think I remember my top 5, right? And then, okay, so my number 3 was Mirror Ball. So Mirror Ball, like you said, I'm the big fan of romance and all of that. And I actually think Mirror Ball is one of the most romantic songs on the album. So I love that one. Number 2 was Hoax, because I live for sad songs. And I think Hoax is the saddest song on the album in terms of how she sings it and how she delivers it. I thought that her voice just sounded so sad and it like breaks apart in the end. And I felt sadness listening to Hoax from the first moment I listened to it. And then my number 1, and I'm seeing that a lot of people love it, my number 1 is August. I love August so much. I can't even describe to you the feeling that I get when I listen to August. I feel like I'm starring in a movie, if that makes any sense at all.
I could see her making that one a single. I feel like, because it's like even if it's like has like a sad, message, it's like an upbeat sounding song, like I feel like I could hear it on the radio, maybe.
Yes. It's like, it sounds romantic, but it's a heartbreaking song.
Yeah.
Because if you listen to the fan theory is that the perspective of this song is from the mistress of this love triangle.
Yes.
So technically she's basically saying like, this wasn't for us, this wasn't ours, and I'm moving on from that. I'm heartbroken, but I'm moving on for that. But here we go. Here are some people's favorite songs. Grace says hers is My Tears Ricochet. Diana says August and Exile for sure. Mira says my favorites were Betty, August, Exile, and The One. Derek says Exile, Cardigan, Betty, August, 7, Mirror Ball, Hoax. Okay, so all of Derek, I think
every
all
song.
Of them. Yes.
And I love The One too. That's one that, especially when I listened to that song first, the very first song on the album, I was like, oh, this album's going to be good. The One is great. That's probably my number 3, top 3.
Oh, that one is brilliant. I actually like that one more than Cardigan, which I know is shocking. I know. Stephanie says she likes Exile and Invisible Strings as well. Tina says, Sitting Alone in My Epiphany Corner. I felt so bad. I ranked Epiphany last on my ranking list, and I feel awful because it's a great song, but somebody had to come in last. Vinny says, hey, Denise and Tiffany, what's up? Thank you so much for tuning in. Sarah says, My Tears Ricochet is definitely about Scott and Scooter. And then Jan has a question for us, says, what is your guys' ranking for Folklore in her whole catalog? So yeah, we were definitely going to discuss that. Let's just talk about it now. I haven't decided, Tiffany. Have you?
Well, this is tough. Because I'm trying to also remember what my album rankings are. We know 1989 is number 1. Speak Now is number 2, right?
Yeah, I think you had Speak Now at number 2.
Your list is number 3. Is that right?
I think so. Oh my God, I have such a horrible memory. All I know is that my number 1 was Reputation.
Is Reputation my number 4? And I think
so.
Lover was what, like number 5, Taylor Swift is 6, and then, or no, like Red is 6, Taylor Swift is 7. Is that right? Something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Has it replaced your number one? I guess that's the magic
It
question.
hasn't replaced my number 1. No, I do love it and love this moment for her and love that she released it right now. But I wouldn't say it's, I feel like it's not, it might be, this is bad. It might be my new like number 4 or 5. It's not in my top 3.
Bad. That's not bad at all, actually. So for me, I will say this, though. I think that this was the fastest album that I ever liked, like immediately. In terms of like right away, I was hooked on all of the songs. I think first I like to listen to them a little bit. And then once I get to know all the words, I start loving all the songs, whatever, right? But I think that this one, it was just like immediately, oh, I love this album and all of these songs are great. And it took me a really long time to even decide what my favorite song on the album actually was. So with that being said, I know that it has not replaced Reputation, just because I love Reputation so much that I can't seem to replace it. But that's the thing that I do. I had Speak Now as my number 1 for the longest time, and it took me forever to replace it with Reputation. So it takes me a long time. I think Reputation's still my number 1. I know I had Red and Speak Now at the very top of my list. I think that I haven't decided where. I don't know. I can't compare Speak Now and Folklore because they're just 2 totally different albums.
I think that's true. That's like a worthwhile point because it's hard to compare them all when Folklore is so different than stuff she's done before.
Exactly. And then with Red, if I could compare it to any album, it would probably be Red. But again, Red has some songs that I would just like die for. I mean, Treacherous, All Too Well, State of Grace. I can't easily replace Red like that. So I think it would be in my top 4, Folklore. But because I'm so attached to these other albums, I can't yet just like move them out of there.
I'll be interested to see what you say in like 6 months because Reputation, it didn't become your favorite until like 2 years after it came out. You're like, all right, so I've been listening to nothing but Reputation. I'm like, really? So maybe like, you know, in like 6 months to a year, you'll be like, all right, Folklore is my favorite.
No, I'm attached. I'm attached to Reputation. It's going to stay there for a really long. It waited a long time to get that number 1 spot.
It did.
And so now it's going to take its time there. Shirla says, I love, love, love Reputation. Yes, I get so mad when people talk smack on Reputation. I don't allow it here. I don't allow it.
And I love, as you know, I love the aesthetic of Reputation. I loved the snakes. I loved the leather, all of it. I loved everything about Reputation, like, you know, visually.
Yes. Deanna says, Denise being romantic while having Rep as her number 1 confuses me a lot. No, it can't.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. Here's why. Here's why.
Go for it. I'll let you explain it.
Oh, I'll explain it for you? Okay.
Yes.
So, because Reputation is about finding love in the midst of all the chaos going on, you know, like she was dealing with the Kanye drama, all this stuff, but she found Joe, and so she wrote Delicate, and so she wrote King of My Heart, and, you know, all these songs, Ready for It, like she's like love and happiness, even though, you know, she was saying, look what you made me do, right? Is that right?
And this is exactly why I keep bringing you on, Tiffany. You know exactly what you're talking about. So yes, you nailed it. It's a romantic album that's dressed in darkness, if that's like an interesting way of putting it, but it's a very romantic album, and I don't think a lot of people realize it. But you know, when you dive into the lyrics and you dive into all these meanings, and really, like you said, all this drama, she found the one. I mean, even just with Call It What You Want, you can listen to one song, and that one song will tell you everything you need to know about Reputation. But let's see what other people are saying in terms of what songs they like. I mean, albums. Alberto Duval says, Reputation is a masterpiece, is my favorite too. Tammy Larson says, love them all. Stephanie says, for me, number 1 is Reputation, 2, Folklore, 3, Speak Now. Nayeli says, Reputation and Folklore have the best merch also. Ooh, what do you think about that? Who had best merch?
Ooh, that's a good point. I'm wearing a Lover merch right now. This is like the Stella McCartney shirt.
Oh my God. I was trying to remove the banner so we could see your shirt, but I wasn't quick enough. So if you want to show it again.
It's hard to tell, but yes, it's the Stella McCartney, you know, like kind of like tie-dye shirt from the Lover merch. But yeah, I mean, Reputation merch was awesome with like the black hoodies and the snakes. I mean, I still have them obviously, but I got quite a few of those black snake hoodies at the time. And I need to buy my Folklore merch. That's the thing. But Lover, it was a little like, I do love this shirt, but I feel like the Lover merch, because it all came out like sporadically, you know, like it'd be like available for a 24 hours or something. It was hard to get. It's hard to get stuff.
I thought Reputation had the best merch, and then I do like the Folklore merch more than the Lover merch. I thought the Lover merch was really nice, but it wasn't really my style. I know I'm wearing pink right now, so this is completely out of the norm, but I'm not really like a pink girl. Ignore the fact that my stuff is pink on the website. I don't really wear pink often. But Lizzie O says red has always been my favorite, but Folklore is close.
Oh.
So I'm seeing that people have Folklore really close to their top list.
They do.
Ron says, to be honest, 1989. Oh, this is all you, Tiffany.
You get it. You get it.
Will be my all-time number one. Rep 2, Lover 3, and Folklore 4, Love from Nepal. Thank you so much for watching all the way from Nepal. And seriously, sharing this. Jod says, did August replace Daylight as your favorite song from Taylor, Denise? No, it did not. Daylight is my life. Daylight is I've never wanted a tattoo, okay, Tiffany, ever. But I did think if I were going to get a tattoo, it would be something from Daylight. It would either be the Daylight song title, or it would be like the lyrics, or a lyric from Daylight. Because
what lyric are you thinking?
Well, I'm not going to do it, though. I'm not going to do it. But
maybe.
No, I think it'd be Step Into the Daylight, Let It Go. Or
well, that's
something.
long. That's a lot of text.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm definitely not getting a tattoo, that's for sure. But if I did, it would be something Daylight related. So August hasn't replaced it in that sense. Let's see. Vinny says, Folklore. By the way, I forgot to tell you, I accidentally called Folklore Fork Lord like 5 times.
Today?
No, not today. Like when the album first came out, I was like, oh, yeah, I need to listen to Folklore. I don't know why. All right. So Vinny says Folklore is one of my faves now, but for me, it doesn't personally top some of the others. But I love the Forest aesthetic. It's one of my personal faves, but I do feel Red and Lover are a trilogy with Folklore. Oh, okay. I like the idea of seeing it as a trilogy.
That's interesting. Yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way.
All right. I'm trying to catch up on some of these comments. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I'm Someone says Fearless is awesome. Classic Taylor. That's what I think about.
I love Fearless. Taylor. To me, Fearless is a no skips album. You can listen to every single song. And I think too, for me, why I love Fearless so much is because it's the album when I first really got into Taylor and became a fan. So it's like Fearless is always like right up there for me. Love it.
I love it too. Yeah, definitely. Simran says Lover has the best merch. Jose Marquez says number 1 is 1989. Number 2, Fearless Folklore. Oh, wow. Fearless is very high on this list. I love it. 3, Reputation Red. I love how you bunched them up, Jose. You were like, I can't necessarily
decide
4 or 5. Both of these take 3. Sarah says she thought Reputation had the best merch. Let's see. Jacob Johnson says 1989 and Red are my favorite. Folklore is close. And then Derek says, I really want Taylor to release some pins for Folklore. When's the last time she released pins? I know she released, was it for Lover or was it for Rep? I think she had stickers for Rep too.
Reputation for sure had pins. I don't know if Lover did.
I don't remember. I'm not really a pins person, so I probably didn't pay attention to that.
You can always go for a pin.
Yeah. Mira says, yeah, exactly. I like the look that she did with the pins on the jacket.
Yes.
Was it Entertainment Weekly? Yeah, I think so. Mira says, Speak Now is forever the best, and I think Folklore comes in at 2 for me. I can't say anything bad about Speak Now. That was my favorite album for years until it got replaced.
Me too. I know. I was surprised that I chose 1989 as my favorite over Speak Now.
Tiffany, we need to give some love to Shrilla. She's up at 5:30 in the morning. Oh, my God. I love it. Thank you so much for doing that. Seriously. Sam says, Folklore is superior for me. So number 1. Okay. Tina says, after thinking really hard, still no idea which album is favorite. I can't blame you, Tina. Yeah. And then Wendy says, 1989 Folklore, Reputation. And oh my gosh, guys, Jordan Nelson has a lengthy comment. Let's see what he says. All of Taylor's albums have always taken a bit to grow on me as they are always so different from era to era, which just ended. However, Speak Now, Red, and Folklore were instant favorites.
Okay.
Yes, I can see that. But see, that's the gift about Taylor is that she can make an album like 1989, make an album like Folklore, and then make an album like Reputation, which are all so different. Like also different. All right. So since we're talking about all of this in terms of like different albums and covers and all of this, let's go into the actual album aesthetic of Folklore. So let's compare it here. These are all the past albums. One of them, it's very different from all the rest. Like right off the bat, we're not seeing Taylor Swift's face front and center. Even though 1989, we only really see her mouth, and Red, there's like this huge shadow. Her face is still there. What do you think in terms of not being able to see her face right up front? She's so far back, you barely know she's there. We're not seeing the actual title, the album title on the album either. What are your thoughts on that?
Interesting. It's funny to see them all together like that. I mean, obviously what jumps out right away is that Reputation and Folklore are both in black and white. But yeah, I mean, super different. That even I remember her talking about with 1989 that it was a very bold choice for her to, you know, do one where you couldn't see her full face. Also, her name isn't on it. It just says TS. But kind of the same as with 1989, that really marked a huge shift for her. She went from being like kind of a country pop artist to all of a sudden she was doing, you know, just pop. And she's like, I'm a pop star. So I kind of feel like, and it's like, but I want the music to speak for itself. It's not about my face or about me. So I almost feel like that's the same with Folklore. Like this is about the music. It's not about me, Taylor Swift. I just want you to listen to songs and judge it for that, you know, not for who I am.
Exactly. I think that falls perfectly in line with what she said. You never see her smiling on an album cover. And one of the things that I thought was interesting too is that she's looking up. So to me, it's almost like she has hope for the future. And she mentions this in her songs by looking up. You know, she's in this darkness of a world right now with everything going on, all the madness, but she's looking up. So I almost feel like there's some sort of symbolism in that. Which album cover or covers do you think are your like holy trinity here?
Ooh, that's a good question. You know, I think I really have to think about it. I think for me, the ones that like are just iconic Taylor Swift covers got to be Fearless, Speak Now, and 1989.
Fearless, Speak Now, and 1989. Yeah, I think those are good. I think my favorites, honestly, are Fearless, Speak Now, and Rep. I think those would probably be. I really love the Fearless album cover. I think it's just so cool how she's like turned to the side, her hair is all over the place. But Speak Now, if I were to create like an album for a pop star, Speak Now would be sort of the look that I would go for, I think. Like that's what I would think of when I think Taylor Swift. I would think that album cover.
I mean, she just looks like a magical fairy princess there in the purple dress. Like, it's so beautiful.
Yes. We don't get enough Princess Taylor. She like, I think was it when she did the Times 100, she had that really, really pretty look, the pink dress. I love like princessy type Taylor.
Oh, that outfit and that dress was gorgeous. She looked so pretty. She looks like Rapunzel.
Yes.
Minus the hair, but still.
Minus the hair. And she did. I remember she had that Rapunzel theme photo shoot. I think it was when she was promoting Enchanted, or I'm not too sure, but I know there's a photo shoot out there that's similar to what you're saying. Derek says, Speak Now cover always looks so magical and they enchanted me, pun intended. Vinny says, Speak Now, Lover, and Folklore have the best ones. Sarah says, she's telling people they need to social distance during coronavirus. Ha ha. Hey, I didn't think about it that way, Sarah, but I think that's a good one. Deanna says, my holy trinity covers are Speak Now, 1989, and maybe Rep. So I think I like the ones where we could see her face. Staying Gold, BTS says, I think Lover and Reputation has the best cover photo shoots, but Red and 1989 are really, really my style. Yeah, the 1989 photo shoots where she has the New York City backdrop, the really cute skirts, and all the Polaroids that she did. I think the fashion was definitely the best for 1989.
I love how she dressed during the 1989 era, like with all the, crop tops and the matching skirts, the sets.
Exactly. We have a question from Sam. Says, question: what do you think about people who think that folklore is so boring? I don't think they get it. Maybe just not their style. But
Yeah,
I don't think it's boring at all.
They're into, and I feel like too, and it's interesting. Who do we think is saying that so much? Like, is it fans or is it outside people?
I think it might be outside people, because I follow so many fans on Twitter, and I haven't seen anybody say like, oh, I think that folklore is boring. If anything, I've been seeing everybody change their handles to folklore related stuff. I mean, everybody like swaps so quickly in terms of like era branding and all of that.
Yeah, profile photos.
Exactly. Sarah says Fearless, Speak Now, Lover, and Rep are her favorite covers as well. Jod says Reputation cover will forever be my favorite. Just look at it. It's gorgeous. Pun intended. Jod, you are hitting us with those puns. I'm not good at puns. Are you good at puns, Tiffany? I'm not.
Am I? I'm not sure.
I don't know how to do any puns.
If I think of one, I'll let you know.
David says this album got the best reviews too.
Good.
Oh my God. Okay, so we talked about all of that. I do want to go ahead and talk about, so earlier we mentioned all of the records that Taylor Swift has broken in the stream, but there is a new one that Taylor has broken, and we do need to get into that as well. So let's talk about this one here. Billboard announced that Taylor Swift has officially broken the record for the most Hot 100 entries among women, as she rises from 97 to lucky 113 entries thanks to Folklore. She is now the number 4 artist overall. Number 1 is Drake. Number 2 is Glee Cast, which I found very surprising. Number 3 was Lil Wayne. 4 Taylor, 5 Future, 6 Nicki Minaj, 7 Elvis Presley, and 8 Kanye West. I mean, this is a big deal. She's the top woman, and to be honest, I can easily see her taking a higher spot. I mean, she still has so much stuff that she's going to accomplish. What are your thoughts on this?
This is crazy. I know I saw when all the Hot 100 figures came out on Monday that she was, at 113 Hot 100 hits now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, lucky number 13. If that's not an omen, I don't know what is. But it's crazy. I mean, Drake, I don't know how many albums this girl would have to put out to have more songs than him in the Hot 100. That's crazy how popular Drake is. But yeah, I bet she will rise in this list for sure over the course of her lifetime. You know what I mean? But it really is crazy that Drake is so high.
I know, right? So now I do want to mention, we're not going to do this right now, but we are going to be doing a top 10 hits video where we're going to rank her top 10 hits. But these are the ones that are the top number 1 hits that have gotten on the Hot 100. We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, Shake It Off, Blank Space, Bad Blood, Look What You Made Me Do, and Cardigan. So with that, I want to lead into Cardigan in terms of, what did you think? Did you think this song would make such a big impact the way it did? I mean, we have so much to talk about with this song. We have the fact that it got the number 1 spot, which, to be honest, I thought was completely unexpected. We have the music video, and then let's also talk about the way she promoted this song. So let's start off with what you thought about this song hitting number 1.
Well, that's what people don't realize is how hard it is to get a number 1 song on the Hot 100. And of all Taylor's songs, yeah, those 6 you just showed are the only ones that have ever hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. And even she didn't have a number 1 hit until Red. So until 2012, she came out with her debut album in 2006. Is that right? But then not until her 4th album, Red, with We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, did she have a number 1. So it really is hard to get a number 1 song on the Hot 100. So the fact that she did that with Cardigan is really huge. But I think what helped it is not only the music video coming out at the same time, so all the streams of the video, all the promo there, but then also just everybody streaming the album on Spotify, on Apple Music, all those streams, add up, people buying the album. So I think, physical copies plus people watching the music video plus all the streams just equaled, this number 1 hit for Cardigan, which is amazing. It'll be interesting to see what it is next week on the Hot 100. But I love that she got a number 1 because I love her. Me and You Need to Calm Down peaked at number 2 because it was during the Old Town Road reign where nobody could get number one over Old Town Road. So the fact that she got a number one right off the bat with Folklore, I love it.
I can't believe it. To be honest, I think that compared to all the other number ones that she's gotten, this song is the most different. It's more closer to the style that her fans tend to gravitate towards. The more singer-songwriter type of style, obviously. And so, to be honest, I was completely shocked that it got so high up there, especially because I was looking at some of the songs that the list that you sent me of the songs that got to number 2, number 3, number 4, and so on. And I'm thinking, wow, I was expecting those songs to make it to number 1, and then they did it. So I didn't see that happening with Cardigan. And the way that she promoted it, we've been seeing a lot of celebrities do that nowadays, where they send gifts out to other celebrities and they post on social media. And so what did you think about that?
Well, I think that was obviously smart. Am I sad I didn't get a cardigan? Am I sad neither of us got a cardigan? Yes, but we need to work on that. That's our goal.
That's our goal.
Being, in the inner circle there to get a cardigan. But so many, media people got cardigans. Also then lots of celebrities, all her celebrity friends. But this is something I noticed. So, a lot of people who were like she had a few TikTok stars in her The Man video, Lauren Gray, Jaden. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I forget her last name, but yeah, I know.
I forget her last name too. So she sent them cardigans. Here's what's interesting. So I noticed that Dixie D'Amelio, Charlie D'Amelio's sister, posted, I think it was a TikTok and then also like a tweet or something where she was wearing the cardigan, but didn't, say that it was Taylor or anything. So I imagine maybe Taylor sent it to more TikTok stars too, like sent it to Charlie, sent it to Dixie. They didn't post it. And I'm like, wait, what? But here's my theory on this. And I'd love to know what you guys think. Because for them, it's like these TikTok stars, they get paid so much money now to use a song in a TikTok, to do any kind of promo. So, I mean, Taylor is not going to pay them to use her song in a TikTok. She's like, I'm going to gift you this thing. I'm Taylor Swift. You should be happy I'm giving you anything.
Exactly.
But I have a feeling maybe they didn't post about it because then it would set this like precedent for what they, get paid for and like what they don't, which is drama and kind of weird, right? Because you're like, who are these TikTok stars? Although it's Taylor Swift. But what do you think about this theory of mine? I've been thinking about this past couple days since I saw Dixie post this TikTok wearing the cardigan.
So I love this theory that you brought up. I didn't even think about it this way because I saw it more as if Taylor Swift sent me a cardigan, I would do like 10 videos crying. I would blast it everywhere. I would be like, thank you, God. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, everybody. Right. And so I see it more like that, where I would overreact. So it's kind of interesting when I see people casually like, oh, I'm with my cardigan, or they don't even mention it. I'm like, Taylor freaking Swift sent you this. All right. So that's the way I see it. Now, I did notice that she sent it to all sorts of celebrities, right? But I almost feel she did target a lot of younger celebrities as well. So that was pretty interesting. I think that the reason why she actually sent them to all of these TikTok stars and all of that is because she realizes that they have an influence on younger kids. And that's the big key. So whether so granted, I found out about this because I follow Taylor Swift websites. So now I was informed, okay, I know what that cardigan is, but how many people that are not Swifties know whether or not that's a Taylor Swift cardigan? So I don't know what she wrote in terms of like her Instagram post or her TikTok, but I would hope that she did at least like mention that it was something Taylor Swift related, because you want to get the message across to these kids that are watching TikTok. Hey, this is something Taylor Swift related. We need to find out what this cardigan symbolizes.
Well, I think in this situation with Dixie, she, posted, like, it was just a random video, did not say what the cardigan was. Later, someone tweeted her, like, is that a Taylor Swift cardigan? And I think she said, yes, it is. But I can't help but think that's why she didn't do any promo with it, because they weren't getting paid for it. And they're like, oh, we can't do stuff for free. But like, really, it's Taylor Swift. Come on. But
I read that they're making like $45K per video that they post. Yeah, they're making a lot of money. But here's the thing, though, is that with stuff like that, we have seen high peaks where you have these really big Vine stars, these really big YouTubers or whatever, and there's always that drop down. So I think that it's pretty cool that she's incorporating all of these like young people and using this as a way to promote her album. And a lot of people did, hey, this is Taylor Swift, she gave it to us. But yeah. I just think that, honestly, I just think that if you get a Taylor Swift cardigan, thank your lucky stars.
Be grateful.
All right?
Okay.
Yes. I definitely think so. Let's see what people are saying about this. Jeffrey says Perez hyped it. I didn't see that, but okay. That I'm really,
He
I've been seeing that he's been posting a lot of pro Taylor Swift friendly things in like the last several eras. So that does make me happy.
He has. He likes Taylor.
Alrighty, and then Carly Funches says that your theory was good. So did Deanna. They also like your theory as well. So I definitely agree with you. Like, I think it's very interesting. It's a very interesting marketing technique, and we know that Taylor's team is very, very on point with this sort of stuff. So overall, good tweet. Let's see here. Derek Wong says, when Taylor gifted Kobe Bryant's daughter, I was touched. People need to wake up and see that she is an amazing person, and they're legit fans. His daughters,
they love her.
Yeah, so I think she really she targeted people that she knows are fans too. So maybe we don't know this. Maybe, Dixie, they're maybe bigger fans than we might expect. So I think that's definitely interesting. Deanna says Taylor gifting people cardigan was such a good promo move. Yes. Let's talk about the music video. The music video was also very pleasing, very nice, very Peter Pan, and with all the magical. Yeah. She opens this piano. She goes inside. We see her in this really pretty fountain area playing the piano. We see her drowning in water. What were your thoughts on this?
Oh, yes. Very magical, whimsical. I mean, the fact, too, that they pulled this off during quarantine and shot this whole very elaborate music video with all these special effects. Only Taylor Swift can do what Taylor Swift does. You know what I mean? Watching it, I was like, so many people lately have been releasing these kind of homemade type music videos. But the fact that she did it safely with all the precautions and still did this amazing out of this world music video, I was like, wow.
I agree. Yeah, it was very nice to sort of have that, but it felt like too much. I was like, oh my God, album, music video. I don't know what to do with my life. It was just madness. I went to sleep at 3 a.m. that night, doing videos, editing, trying to get stuff up there. It was insane. All right, so now let's go ahead and talk. Okay, so earlier we talked about our favorite songs, but we forgot to mention what song we thought was the most impactful in the album. And I really do think we need to talk about this because Taylor Swift made some really big statements with some songs. And I'm just going to go ahead and start it off. I think Mad Woman was by far the most shocking, most surprising song on the album because we had Taylor Swift curse throughout the album, but this one had the big F-bomb. And not only that, I mean, women like hunting witches too. I mean, there was just so much about this album the song that just had me screaming. Taylor Swift had so much. She had so much I'm just gonna say she had so much balls putting this song out there, and the way that she did it was just magnificent. I love the way she called all these people out in a really nice, poetic, and eloquent way.
Well, here's what's wild to me is I so often miss what the Easter eggs and things are until I read an article that a Swiftie wrote that is everything you missed from the album. And I was reading one, and apparently I didn't even know, and I'm sure you heard this sense, I didn't even pick up on this. But apparently in that song, Mad Woman, they think it's about, Scott and Scooter. And then that she's referencing, Scooter's wife who spoke out against Taylor on social media.
Yes, 100%. Yes. And Kim Kardashian as well.
But yeah, people think that she or people suspected maybe that the song was accusing Scooter of cheating on his wife. I was like, what? I was like, this is a lot. I don't know. I was like, huh?
Oh, I got that 100%. Towards the end of the song, I even said this.
Wives always know. I was like,
yes. Oh, she threw some things in there that you're like, wait, did I just hear that? Am I having the same? Am I reading in between the lines properly? I think that was a major question that we were asking ourselves with this album. And I just think that this one, I was shocked. I think this one had more impact than The Man. I think it was the most shocking song on the album. What was yours?
I think for me, probably one of my favorite songs, My Tears Ricochet, because when I first listened to that, I kind of took it at face value because she was saying how so many of these songs were about her stepping into different people and singing from, made up imaginary perspectives. I kind of thought this was actually like about a funeral and about somebody dying. And then the more you listen and reading all the fan theories, I was like, holy cow, this is about like her albums and about like the death of her and like her, you know, leaving Big Machine and like, you know, she can go anywhere else, but she can't go home. She can't go home to Big Machine. Like if she's dead to Scott Borchetta, why is he like at the wake? And like, oh my gosh, too, like I didn't have it in me to like go with Grace, that whole thing, like how she would like, oh my God, like all the, and like then all of a sudden, like when you hear all these things come together, I was like, holy cow, that's what really surprised me, is that she took, you know, that whole saga that we watched play out on Twitter, on social media, and then put it in this very eloquent song about a funeral and about somebody dying. Wow, I was like, this is amazing.
It's brilliant storytelling because it's kind of like Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. Like you think it's about one thing, but then it turns out to be a political song and you're like, what? I didn't see that coming. And I think that's one of the cool things about Taylor is that you don't have to be somebody like, there's different types of fans. Obviously there's the fans that listen to her music. They don't know all the ins and outs about Taylor or whatever. They just listen to her music, know the basics, and they enjoy the songs, right? And then there's the other Taylor Swift fan that's like die hard. These are the Easter eggs. These are the meanings. Oh my God. I mean, we already know what category we fall into, but I just think the fact that she's able to please both of those types of fans is pretty interesting. And that's what we see with this music. And with Folklore, I think she really took it to another level where she was really like, this is what you hear, but this is the real meaning of this song. And I thought we got a lot of that. Jordan Nelson says that he thinks Mad Woman was one of the best ones. As Sarah says, yes, it was all so overwhelming. Deanna says each song has a different kind of impact. In my opinion, I 100% agree with you. It could be an impact in terms of like romance, heartbreak, whatever it is, it has both of them. Saad sent some love, says love you both. Thank you so much. Mira says, Denise and Tiffany, what do you guys think about the theory that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds announced their baby's name in Folklore? Oh, the theory that the baby's name is Betty, right? Did they ever confirm that?
Well, so recently, this is the latest on this. So, you know, Betty has gone to country radio. So there's a promo that's playing, I guess, on country radio stations before Betty, you know, Taylor introducing it, and somebody, you know, ripped it off the radio, put it on social media. And she says that the characters in the song are named after her friends' children. So obviously James and Inez are Blake Lively's kids. So yeah, then I think, given that theory, that Betty would be the name of the other child. And honestly, that seems like a Taylor Swift thing to do.
Oh, yeah. What was interesting was that was the first thing that I saw all the news sites pick up on. And I'm like, guys, that's the first thing you guys picked up? Like, there is so much more happening here. You guys need some different headlines here because I honestly thought that there was not enough media coverage for the song Mad Woman. I don't think that people did it justice in terms of what she did with that song. And same thing with My Tears Ricochet, because it's very heavy.
You're right. But you know, what's interesting. Maybe that's good. You know what I mean? Because then it doesn't, like, it's, you know, we know what it's about. I'm sure the guys in question know what it's about, you know, and she does too. It's like, do we need more, you know,
right,
like media attention around it? I don't know. But yeah, it was funny how people, were like, did she reveal the baby's name? I was like, what?
Sarah Meller says Mad Woman is so good. She called out so many people, and it was well deserved because, hey, they all took their shots at Taylor as well. Derek says every reaction channel that doesn't really do much Taylor Swift was so shocked at her cuss. It doesn't matter, like, everybody, whether you're a diehard, whether you're not a diehard, I think everybody was shocked. David says she covered suicide and abuse. She was really vulnerable. She talked about her grandfather's death. She did such a good job, unlike anything she has ever done before. Yeah, and I have my own theories about This Is Me Trying and Seven, which I talk about in my Easter egg videos, where I think those ones have deeper meanings than what we are originally thinking. So I do see that as being something here. Sarah Miller says, I can't keep up with all the theories. Tiffany, did I tell you I did a video on the Easter eggs for Folklore and the theories? That video took me 13 hours to get done. And I'm not just saying it because 13 is like the lucky number. I'm not kidding you. That video took forever to get done. Deanna says, the Hold Your Hand Through Plastic Now in Epiphany broke my heart. Oh, it it was a deep line, and I thought there was so many deep lines there. Rachel Schallenbarger says, and we can't forget about the lyric from Peace,
Yes.
robbers to the east, clowns to the west. I think that was one of the most noticeable ones for sure. Vinny says, I dropped my jaw when I heard Taylor say the F-bomb all those times. And then someone says, yes, I heard it today. It is Betty. All right, so it is Betty. I guess that's definitely the truth then. Chris Lange says, I think Epiphany is impactful with how it relates to coronavirus. 100%. Corey says, yes, Taylor confirmed Betty is Blake and Ryan's new baby. Renan says, Epiphany stands arise. Deanna says, clowns to the west was such a subtle shade. Oh, there are so many in there. Wendy says, there's a rumor going around that Exile is going to be pushed to alternative radio stations. It should be. It should be.
That makes sense.
That, you know, my fiance is not into like pop girl music the way I am, right? He heard this song and he was like, I love this song. Like, this is the kind of music that I would listen to. And I was like, interesting, because it's an appealing song for men, I think, too.
Well, that's what's been like fun too, is like either, you know, guy friends, boyfriends, friend boys, whatever you want to call it.
Friend boys.
I've known people and like had, you know, friends, boyfriends, stuff like that, who have like been so like into Lover, not into Lover, oh my gosh, into Folklore.
Right.
I'm getting all riled up.
Yeah, there you go. It's too much, man. It's too much. Mira says, I kind of love that Taylor isn't afraid at all to cuss in Folklore. She does so in a tasteful way, to be honest. Nathan says, love all the songs. The vibe is so chill. Yeah, it really is. I feel like it's just that song where you can just like escape into like a dreamland or whatever. All right. So with that being said, oh my God, there's so much to talk about with this album, but we're almost
I can't
done
believe
here.
we talked for a whole hour.
I know. All right. We're almost done, guys.
For watching.
Yes, we're almost done, and then we'll end with a Q&A section or whatever. But here we go. Let's talk about that love triangle, because that was one of the major topics that I think everybody was talking about, because Taylor Swift did say from a start, hey, there's a love triangle in this album. And I just thought that all the different perspectives that she took in terms of her storytelling for this album, I thought was pretty interesting. So the theory is that the love triangle songs, the 3 songs are Cardigan, August, and Betty, with Cardigan being the POV from Betty, August being the POV from this mystery woman, and then Betty being the POV from James. So with all of that being said, like, what do you think about like the fact that she incorporated a love triangle into this album? And did you see the video I tagged you in, the one about Phoebe when she was doing the Friends?
I did see that video.
Oh, that shook me.
So much to unpack here. So first of all, when she, you know, the premiere, like she first mentioned the love triangle in the comment section in the premiere for Cardigan, you know, people were on ready for the video to premiere. And like when she said that there's like this love triangle of songs, I was like, oh, this album is going to be complex and have a lot going on. Because I was like, what is she talking about? I mean, I would have not known what songs were in the love triangle until Swiftie Twitter told me. But I think it just speaks to, I mean, Taylor being so imaginative and creative on this album, really.
Yeah, I think it was really cool, the fact that she did that. And I mentioned on my Easter egg video that if you guys wanted to watch, it's almost at 50K views. You guys can check it out. That one, I feel like she almost drew inspiration from The Great Gatsby. And I explained it all in there because there's so many ties with, you know, the man she mentions, Leonardo DiCaprio. She has that nod to him in the Man music video. Leo was in The Great Gatsby movie. So I almost feel like all of this connects to that, and I won't be surprised if that's where she drew some of the inspiration for the love triangle. But I don't know. I love it. I know this is a theory. Stephanie says Inez is the name of the mystery woman. I don't think so, though. I think she's just the messenger, just like the XOXO gossip girl.
Yeah,
you know?
like the gossipy. That's the thing, too. Yeah, people at first thought it was Inez, but then it was like, oh, she's just the gossipy girl at school.
Right, exactly. Deanna says, okay, so have you heard the theory about Taylor telling us the love triangle story, then doing a flash forward to her own childhood with 7, and then the chronology basically ends with her moving to, and then she doesn't finish, and then moving to Rhode Island and learning about Rebecca. Yes, I did hear that theory. So basically someone on Reddit basically formatted all the songs and said that all the songs were part of this whole story. but for you read it and it's very, very convincing, and I was convinced. But then because
it all just
Taylor
goes
said
over my head, to be honest.
right.
Like maybe, but I just don't know.
But when Taylor said, "Oh, it's only 3 songs," I was like, "All right, it's more plausible that it's the other 3 songs versus this whole entire thing." But it is very interesting to sort of see what people are saying. Amanda Norris says, "Why are some people so sure Inez isn't the other woman? She could have told Betty what was happening out of spite, especially the way James says you can never believe a word she says."
Ooh, Amanda, you might be right. That's fair.
I've thought about that too, but I just feel like, I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it. I think maybe because of the way I personally read it, I don't see it as being a Ness. I see it more as she's really is just like the messenger. But that's just my take on it.
I think it could go either way.
Sarah Miller says, "I love the love triangle on the album, and I think Betty deserved better." And that's the thing. We're supposed to I feel that the goal is to feel this hurt with Betty, to feel this connection with Betty, because Betty was the one that really got hurt in this love triangle.
Well, and that's the thing too, I don't know. Because it's like, James is playing both of them, whoever the mystery person is, and Betty. So you know what, James.
Well, I kind of feel like she wanted to sort of have us feel bad for, I kind of felt like bad for everybody in the story. I felt bad for the mistress. I felt bad for Betty. James, I'm totally anti-cheaters and all of that stuff. Yeah. But part of me did kind of feel bad for him, because somebody posted like, oh, maybe he's the one, because the way that he sings, like, oh, like, please forgive me, whatever, like how he's asking for this forgiveness, you kind of feel bad for him, kind of. I don't know. Corey Sampson says,
I don't feel bad.
Tiffany, you're savage. I feel bad for everybody all the time. Corey Sampson says,
you did wrong.
Corey Sampson says, "I feel like there are several songs on the album from Betty's point of view. The one, Cardigan, Exile, is both Betty and James. He says he sees her dancing with someone else in both songs, and illicit affairs." Yeah, that falls in line with the exact same thing that I read on Reddit, where people think that there are more songs that coincide with this.
That is the hard part, I think, is illicit affairs is literally about an affair. So I don't know why that would be about something different than what this is.
She really made it hard for us to try and decipher this. Liz Gaming says Betty should have been a music video. Hey, it still could be. I don't know if Taylor expected all of this success and feedback with Betty. David says Betty has a cliffhanger. Draw your own ending. Deanna says, "Oh, and B2W Denise, I know you love Lana Del Rey, and The Lakes is so Lana Del Rey. It is insane." Oh, that's good to know.
You love Lana Del Rey?
I love Lana Del Rey.
Oh,
yeah.
No, really?
Yeah, I do. I know
Sorry,
I know she's had some bad publicity, so I'm not even going to touch that. But in terms of her music, only speaking about her music, Norman fucking Rockwell is like everything to me. I love that album.
I did not know you were into Lana Del Rey.
I didn't know I was into her till I honestly got into her during this quarantine when I started to like branch out and listen to other stuff. Oh, I haven't even caught you up. I'm a big Lorde fan now. That happened too.
Lorde's great. I've liked Lorde.
I just joined the Lorde bandwagon 2020. Melodrama is like my new favorite thing ever. Vinny says, "Tiffany and Denise, have you guys seen other reaction videos to Folklore and their interpretation, like Lauren Lipman or AJ's? They especially have some great ideas on how the love triangle works." I have not, but I have read like so many theories on like Twitter and Reddit and like so many other stuff. I just think it's really cool that Taylor Swift opens up this community to where so many people can bring up their own interpretations of things and, just kind of go from there. All right, so we have one final question, and this is just something I thought about right now. What on earth is going to happen with Loverfest?
I don't know. Well, I mean, if we're being real, I don't know if concerts are even going to come back next summer. It's like right now everybody's saying summer 2021, but at this rate, I just don't know. So I don't know. It's like, yeah, will she do a half lover, half folklore fest, or like who knows what will, by the time, especially to have like a big stadium concert like that, like they will be able to have that many people together. Who knows, really? It feels very up in the air to me.
I don't even have an answer for this because I just feel like we're in the midst of two eras. Like it kind of, I know the folklore era has begun, but I don't feel like we had that final send off with the lover era. So things are very complicated on this end. I really don't know, but I have a feeling we might see like a mixture of things.
I think so. And because also if you think about it, all of her concerts, she always plays her greatest hits, you know? Even if she gives us kind of like new versions of them, whether that's Love Story, You Belong With Me, especially on the Reputation Stadium tour, she gave us all of her greatest hits plus Reputation songs. So I feel like probably for Folklore / Loverfest, we'll get all the greatest hits, but then also like the best songs off Folklore and the best songs off Lover.
And I'm with Sarah here. She says, I hope concerts will happen again.
Me too.
I think so too. I hope so too. Renan says, I think they're going to do a combined tour or we get a movie. I hope she comes to India though. You never know. Hey, I just want something to happen. I don't care where it happens at this point anymore. If it's a concert where I can't even attend, I'm just going to be happy that there's a concert, period. And I'm sad because I still have my pit tickets. They're just sitting there.
You're going to get to use them. Someday. I feel it.
I really, really hope so. Shirley says, I guess I'll be Gossip Girl. They say I did something bad. Then why does it feel so good? You guys are funny. Oh my God. All right. So that is pretty much the end of our stream. We sort of talked about everything. If you guys have any last minute questions, now is the time to get them in before we end the stream. But I do want to thank you guys all so much for joining our stream here today. But seriously, guys, please give some love to Tiffany. Tiffany has been a part of so many of my videos here, whether it's ranking, reactions, stuff like this, more podcasty type stuff. She's amazing. She's a great Swiftie to follow. She gets lots of love on Twitter. So go and follow her Twitter, Instagram @ Tiffany Taylor. Tiffany, do you have anything to say to the people?
Well, thank you all for watching us talk this long about Taylor Swift. We really appreciate it. And yes, if you're on Twitter, on Instagram, tweet me, leave a comment, and I will definitely tweet or comment you back.
Alrighty, some last comments that people are saying I want to read before we go. So, where did I go? Okay, Shivam says August is so good, but I think Taylor Swift meeting James cheats on Betty for Inez, but I think Inez is Taylor Swift. There are so many theories. Deanna says, could she re-record all her albums and then do a career tribute kind of tour? I would love that. Would you?
Well, I could see her doing it because she has said that she planned on recording the albums, at least the first ones, in like November 2020. That's coming up. So it's like, does she still plan on doing that? Love lore. Haha. I like that.
August lore, love lore. That's a really great concert title. I really like that. Brendan says, can we possibly get cover of a song from you? Oh, I don't sing. Tiffany, do you sing?
I sang Once Upon a Time, but I haven't, not really. This is a cover channel.
Sarah says, do you understand what Hoax is about? I think it's just a breakup song, kind of like what she did with Death by a Thousand Cuts, where she said this, she loves to write breakup songs. So, hey, she did it. I know a lot of people thought maybe her and Joe broke up. Clearly, that's not a thing since we just saw them on Instagram. Like, Taylor apparently liked his post. Like, she was like the first in 18 seconds or something. I was like, what?
She's got the mobile notifications turned on because she always likes his stuff right away. But yeah, listening to Peace and Invisible String, they're definitely still together.
Let's see. Sam says, are you hoping for Cruel Summer music video? I think that ship has sailed.
I think it has too. I would have liked it, but...
And Tammy Larson says, thank you both so much. I still have my Lover tickets. So do I. Jabber says, thanks, Denise. Swiftie, that Swiftie. Thank you so much. Let's see. David says, thank you for doing this live. Love Folklore. I keep wanting to say Folklore. It's still a thing.
He wrote, folk love, folklore.
Oh, there you go. Folk love, folklore. Sarah wrote, you're welcome, Tiffany. And Derek says, you two make me happy. You guys are so kind. All right. So make sure to give some love to Tiffany. That is the end of our stream, but make sure to check back to the channel. Right now, I have reaction videos that you can check up. Go to the Crazy Obsessed Taylor Swift Fangirl playlist, and on there you will find so many other stuff, like so much I can't even describe to you what you're going to find on there. Follow Tiffany on social media. Check back because we are going to be ranking Taylor's #1 hits from the Hot 100. We will be doing that video and it will be dropping on Monday, so please keep an eye out for that. Follow Tiffany at _Tiffany Taylor. Follow myself at _ Denise Salcedo. And until next time, we'll see you guys all later. Bye, everyone.